what's going on, beautiful jellyfish? It's Tracy. Thanks so much for taking a little bit of time today to hang out with me. I really appreciate it. As the cat starts crying. In today's video, I'm going to be doing my updated Tasigur deck tech. This deck, I last did in, gosh, I believe it was 2 years ago, which is, I try to do deck techs updated every 2 years. So we are at the 2-year mark. The deck is looking beautiful, shiny. We got our foil altar here. How freaking sick is this? Absolutely love it. We've got Tasigur as the commander. This is, I would say, in the, like, typical Tasigur fashion, right? It's going to be doing a lot of graveyard recursion stuff, all that jazz. I love this deck. It's like my baby. Love it. The deck will be listed in the down bar below if you want to check it out. And, let's just jump on in. Let's talk about that mana base. Get that out of the way. I have both, and then I have one of, like, these sleeves. I don't know what these are called. They remind me of Throne of Eldraine, though. Anyone else? They look really cool. And then it depends on my mood, you know? Okay, let's jump into it. Mana base, 35 lands. If you know, you know. Let's start with 4 islands, 4 swamps, and then I have, what is it, 7, I believe? Yeah, I have 7 forests. Green is the primary color, and also green's really important in the early game because that's like where my mana acceleration is. You know what I mean? Okay, let's jump into our specialty lands now. Zelda is in the literal absolute worst position. Okay, there we go. Okay, so now we're gonna jump into chatting about, how is this zoomed? I wanna zoom you guys in a little bit more. There we go, that's better. Okay, Alchemist Refuge is the first thing. I love this card so incredibly much. I love being able to have flash and cast things during any time I want. The next card I have is Bad River, which I really enjoy this card. This card actually doesn't come in foil, which is really disappointing as far as I'm aware. So we have this, but I really like this card, and it is not basic, which is really nice. So I can get one of my things that doesn't. Okay, then I have Bojuka Bog. Love this card. I basically treat this as like an extra swamp, so I feel like I really have 5 swamps because, you know, that is. And then I have my Shocklands, of course. Then I have Command Tower, which I get a lot of comments on this card. A lot of people are really interested in this card. It just changes because I just opened the blind up for Zelda. She was like going towards the window and they like to look out the window. So anyways, so I have Command Tower. I get a lot of comments on this card whenever people see it, but this is an altar done by Altered Prince. And that's that person's name. I'm not gonna try to say that, but anyways, yeah, this is really, really, really cool, and I love it. I think it looks sick. So there's that. I then have Evolving Wilds, and similarly, which by the way, this is my favorite Evolving Wilds art. Anyone else? Dark Ascension, only been printed 1 time in Dark Ascension. It's beautiful. And Terramorphic Expanse, of course. I have Fabled Passage. She's sitting just right here, all prim and proper, like the little princess she is. Gotta have a little bit of land, destruction. I always get like destruction and disruption. I always like feel like I say the incorrect one, but I have Field of Ruin, and similarly to that, I have Ghost Quarter. I have Fetchlands, of course. This Misty Rainforest is truthfully one of the most beautiful things that I've ever seen in my entire life. The Delta is also really nice. These are both gifts. All of these were actually gifts from Paul. Love those. Gotta have those. Then I have Myriad Landscape, which I really enjoy this land a lot. It does enter tapped, but I feel like it adds a good amount of value. So I like it. I have Opulent Palace. Gotta have those colors. Rogue's Passage. Love this card. Sunken Hollow. I don't know if these are, what's it called? I don't know if these are a cycle. Like, I don't know if they've done the full cycle is what I'm trying to say. And if so, I need to pick them up because these are really, really good. And I like them because they say, like, Island Swap, you know? And the last one that I have is the Triome, Zagoth Triome, which I love because, again, it has all of the, names in it, so you can fetch it with a lot of things. Okay, let's talk about Planeswalkers because I have 2. First one I have is Ugin the Spirit Dragon. Of course, we have Ugin the Spirit Dragon in this deck because it is so incredibly good, and it is just a board wipe, and we absolutely need that. So we have Ugin. The other Planeswalker I have is Sorin Markov, which I absolutely adore this card, and I feel like just setting someone's life total to 10, like, there's nothing quite like that. You know what I mean? Nothing. Love it. Okay. Let's jump into enchantments. I have 4. The first one I have is Animate Dead. I love this card so much. I just recently talked about this, I think, in my Black Staples. I don't remember if I talked about it in part 2 or it was part 1, but I love this card so much. It's great. There's a plenty of good things for you to target in your graveyard, but it's also you can target things in anyone's graveyard, which is so cool. Then I have Deadbridge Chant, which I love this card so incredibly much. You mill 10 cards. The really awesome thing too is if someone destroys it and you get a chance to bring it back with something, you just get to recast it, which is so incredibly cool. It's a mystery of like what you get, but there's really no bad targets, so love it. And like if there are bad targets, like you delve those away because there's a couple of delve things, you know what I mean? Then I have Imprisoned in the Moon, which is one of my personal favorite removal cards because you just literally turn something into a colorless land. I mainly target commanders with this. Love it. Phyrexian Reclamation is the next card on the list, which is one of the ways that I get things back, but I have a lot of ways of getting things back in this deck, so. Those are it for enchantments. Then I have artifacts, so of course I have Birthing Pod. Gotta have Birthing Pod in this deck because it is so incredibly cool. There's so many good targets for you. You sack things, you don't really care because you get a chance to bring them back. Great card. Chromatic Lantern. I have to have Chromatic Lantern in here because I need my colors. Perilous Vault because it's my favorite board wipe. Skull Clamp. I am not 100% sure off the top of my head if this personal art comes in foil, and I like this art and I do not like the other art, so that is why this is not in foil, but it's fine. It's okay. One day. Soul Ring. Also, like, this is my favorite art. Anyone else? I really like the Masterpiece, but it's like $700. I'm like, sorry, not buying that. I could buy a whole deck for that, you know? Swiftfoot Boots. I actually don't have Lightning Greaves in this deck, but it's fine. If your stuff dies, you don't really care, you know what I mean? And if Tasigur dies, like, you could just delve and recast, you know? And last one I have is Vidalcanori. So, cool. Love that. Okay, let's jump into now our instants and sorceries. Let's do our sorceries first. I believe there is 15 sorceries. Yeah, there's 15 sorceries, which is quite a lot. First one I have is Buried Alive, which I love. You search for 3 creatures, you put them in your graveyard, you know, you have many ways of getting things back, so love this card. The next thing I have is Damnation, which is signed by my good friend Koji, and he did this, and he got this for me as a gift, and I absolutely love this, and I love the swoosh. Demonic Tutor, very similarly to that, I have Demonic Tutor and Diabolic Intent. Both amazing cards. This one you just have to sack a creature, but I love them because you don't have to reveal them. Those are 2 of my tutors. Disentomb is very good and very underrated. Yes, it's only creature card and it is only hands, but it's only 1 mana for what it is, and it's absolutely stunning in foil. I love this card. Then I have Fade into Antiquity, which is one of my personal favorite artifact or enchantment hate cards. And the really nice thing too, and one thing that I do want to say is, like, you might be like, oh, you only have like 1 of those cards. It's like, yeah, but the whole idea is you want to cast it multiple times because you have, you know, cards like this that you can get things back from, you know? So if you're only like, why do you only have like your 1 board wipe? Well, I mean, I have Perilous Vault, but that's exile. But Damnation, it's like, because I can just keep getting it back if I need it, you know what I mean? Then I have Grim Tutor, another tutor. Great card. We actually opened this in our M21 box, so that's where that's from. Then I have Ponder. And very similarly to that, I have Preordain. And also, too, I will say, just because I know everyone, like, knows I love foils, but if it has a full border, I count this as, like, foil. You know what I mean? Like, I count this as, like, aesthetically, like, what I want. So, like, I love this. This is Steve Argyle, and it's beautiful. Preordain, of course. Then I have Reanimate, one of my ways of getting things back. Then I have Regrowth, again, another way to get something back. Temporal Trespass is my way to take extra turns. Paying 3 mana to take an extra turn is really, really good. This one you do have to exile, though, so that's just like a note. Can't keep casting that. That'd be a little ridiculous. Traverse the Uvenwald. Absolutely love this card. This card is awesome. Treasure Cruise. Great, love it. Draw 3 cards, 1 mana, ridiculous, OP. And then I have Victimize, which I absolutely love this card. You sack your Solemn Simulacrum or whatever, or like plenty of your other creatures, and then you just get 2 things back for 3 mana. It's so good. Love it. Okay, instants. Let's do it. We've got 6. Blue Sun Zenith. Gotta have that card draw. Very important. Love it. Brainstorm. Of course, have to have Brainstorm in this deck, and this is my personal favorite art. Let me know what's your favorite Brainstorm art in a comment. I'd love to know. There's a lot of good Brainstorm arts. Then I have Counterspell. This is also my favorite Counterspell art. The new one. Gotta have Counterspell. It's a great card. Cyclonic Rift, of course. Gotta have it. You're playing blue. It's a staple. Dig Through Time. Because for, 2 mana, I like to get 2 cards at instant speed. It's great. That's like partially why too, like if you're interested in building Tasigur, like you gotta run cards like these. You gotta run these because these are like you play them and then you get them in your graveyard, because a lot of stuff like you want to keep in your graveyard because you want to get it back. You know what I mean? Like you might want this Treasure Cruise back in your graveyard. You don't want to delve that away with, your Dig Through Time, whatever, right? Like you want to keep those. So your lands are where it's at. Last instant is Reality Shift, one of my spot removal cards. This is just one of that I personally prefer. It's 2 mana, you exile and they manifest, but you don't really care because it's exile. So love this card. Okay. Let's jump into talking about our creatures. Let me see what our number is at. We're at 30 creatures. We love. First up is Acidic Slime. Great card. Destroys artifact, enchantment, or a land if you're feeling particularly spicy. And it's got Death Touch. It's a great card. I love it. Archaeomancer, there are so many instants and sorceries that you're gonna want to get back. Like there's so many. Like in total, I run, let's see, 15 plus 6, I run 21 instants and sorceries. There's gonna be something you want back. Absolutely. Then I have Baleful Strix because we love drawing cards. It's also just a great like defensive card, a card that you can, throw under the bus if, someone is swinging at something really threatening and you need a blocker. It's a great blocker. Bean of Progress is one of my personal favorite green cards because it removes all artifacts and enchantments. You do have a couple of good targets where you're going to be a little bummed if they get destroyed, but it's fine. You can probably get them back if you're really missing them, but the fact that it destroys everything is really good. Coiling Oracle, classic. Love that little bit of advantage. Even if you don't, you just get to draw a card for 2 mana. It's a great card. I love this. And it's also a really great target. Like, there's a lot of really good targets for, like, Skull Clamp in this deck. Like, this is a perfect Skull Clamp target. You know what I mean? Baleful Strix, maybe not as much Baleful Strix. You want to kind of keep this around. You know what I mean? Okay. Courser of Crufix. Absolutely adore this card. Getting that little bit of advantage is great. And it's one of the things that gives me life in this deck, which I love. Okay, I get made fun of this card so much, not like in a mean way, but like my friends are always like, oh, it's a morph, it's Stem Protector, or whatever. I just really want to play with someone who doesn't know me, and then I throw a morph down and they have no idea what it is. I'm waiting for the day that happens. But if it's a morph, I don't play any other morphs, it's Stem Protector. You get something back. Love this card. Elvish Visionary, classic ETB draw card, 1/1, perfect Skull Clamp target. Eternal Witness, of course, absolutely quintessential card. Very similarly to that, I'm going out of order just a little bit, but Green Morna Marasa. This is like double Eternal Witness, and you do have to exile it to get something back on the double thing, but honestly, it's fine. You have so many other ways of getting things back. It's totally cool. I'm going to talk about these next 2 cards together because they literally do the same thing, which is Mystic Snake and Frilled Mystic. So you might be wondering, well, Tracy, why don't you sub these out so that you could run more like Counterspell, like those type of effects, instead of having creatures? Well, the reason that I do that is because I want creatures in my graveyard because, for example, like I run... that's not Regrowth. I run Disentomb, and this only gets back creature, right? So, like, that's something that I want to target. I guess the trade-off is Archaeomancer, for example, like, gets back instant or sorcery. You know what I mean? So, like, if these were instant sorceries, I could get that back. You know what I mean? But, like, it's fine. I honestly don't mind them being creatures, but another reason that I run, and another really big key reason, is the next card. Oh, by the way, casting these is, like, no problem. But yeah, these cards are awesome. And my personal favorite creature in this whole entire deck is Kese Cagebreakers. This is another reason why I choose to run these as creatures, because the more creatures, the bigger this gets. This card is absolutely a house. This is literally the reason that I run Rogue's Passage in this deck, because my main goal is to kill people. There are other ways that you can kill people, and we're actually going to get to, like, in the next couple cards, like 2 more of my potential win conditions, because the reality is I could just punch people, like, with these little dudes. Like, I can absolutely do that, and I can definitely win that way, and I can kill people, but it takes a while. Kessig, you know, expedites the process. Another win condition, and one of my personal favorite cards, is Hydroid Crisis. This was a Valentine's Day gift the year it came out. Paul got it for me. Absolutely love it. He gave it to me literally as an early Valentine's Day present. It was so cute. I absolutely adore this card. You gain X life, draw X cards. A lot of the curve you're going to notice in this deck is on the lower side. Like, there's a lot of the creatures that are like this, like 2 mana, do that, whatever. But like, this is like the big thing. This is like the big creature in this deck, or the big spell in this deck. And it's so incredibly cool. This is when I'm like, okay, I'm doing fine. My board state is fine, but I have a tutor. What do I get? It's probably Hydroid Crisis. Drawing cards and gaining life. Hello. Muldrifter. I hardly ever hard cast this. It's pretty much always for its evoke cost. It's a really great card to like feed into a delve if you're like desperate and you need something to delve. And it also buffs your Kessig because it's in your graveyard. Oracle of Moldiah, it's a staple. I love this card. If you can afford to get one, I would definitely recommend it. It really puts you above, over the edge. I should also probably get the reality chip for this deck, actually, too. That's on my list. Razaketh is one of the win conditions. First off, for a couple of reasons. First off, you can tutor for literally anything. I love Razaketh. It's got flying and trample, and it's an 8/8. You can just kill people this way. Like, let's be honest. Win condition right here. But you can also pay life, get anything that you need. Sack a creature, you literally don't care. We've established this. There's so much fodder in here for you just to like, oh, my Archaeomancer, it's done its thing. Let's exploit it. You know what I mean? Or I guess it's kind of like exploit basically. But yeah, card's great. Reclamation Sage, of course, has to be in here. Gotta have your artifact and enchantment removal. Runescar Demon is one of my personal favorites. I feel like there are definitely other tutors that I have in here, and I could always replace this with another tutor if I needed to, but I like the fact that it's a 6/6 flyer. Great card. Zelda is currently trying to go inside my box of comic books, which is very bad. Sakura Tribe Elder. Great card. Absolutely love it. Need to have these staples. And you'll also notice, too, that I don't have as much mana acceleration in, like, my enchantment, like, or my artifacts or things. I tend to have more creatures, again, to synergize with Kessig and, like, my Skull Clamp. Like, it's a perfect target for Skull Clamp. Also, my Razaketh, you know. Satyr Wayfinder, I know there are probably better cards. This is probably, like, the card on the chopping block if I, like, get, like, the reality chip, for example. Or a Greed. I should probably put a Greed in this deck so I can draw more cards. But yeah, this card's awesome. I do really like it. And then I have Seedborn Muse. Of course, my personal favorite thing to do with Seedborn is have Seedborn and play and do my Tasigur, and then I can do Tasigur as many times as I want. Sheldred. So good. This is another reason why I do run kind of cards that we talked about. Is like, that's why I run like cards like Sakura instead of like a Worn Power Stone or something like that, because those cards are really good. But in this, I wanted to do it more creatures because I can get things back with Sheldred, and everyone has to sack things, which is great. Love that card. Shriekmaw, of course. It targets a lot of things. It's not an artifact, so, and it can't be black, but other than that, it targets a lot, so I love it. Evoke cost too. It's great. Sidisi, I love this card. I just talked about this recently in a video, and she exploits, she tutors, you don't have to reveal it, you're left with the 4/6 Death Toucher. One of the win conditions right here, you could just punch people with Sidisi, you know? Solemn Simulacrum, aka Sad Robot, gotta have it. It's a staple, you know? It's also nice too because for like a card like Birthing Pod, like I want to make sure that I have some cards that are like, you know, of that like CMC, and I feel like I don't really have a lot of stuff that's actually at 4 now that I'm thinking about it, which is, oh, but I have like these, but that doesn't really help with Birthing Pod. But I'm doing a little quick inventory, and I have Archaeomancer. That's actually a really good target at 4, but I really don't have a lot of targets at 4. I have a lot of stuff that's 3 mana. So if I'm Birthing Pod away my 3 mana thing, I don't have as many targets, but let's see. Oh yeah. Maybe I should get another 4 mana cost thing that I can Birthing Pod, because that seems really good. Okay, then we have Spore Frog, of course. You can just be super annoying with this. I've been so annoying in games where I've literally just been super close to death, sacked my my Spore Frog, got it back with Phyrexian Reclamation, play my Spore Frog. Like, I've done really dumb things like that, you know what I mean? Maybe Phyrexian Reclamation is not the best because if I'm, like, low life, but you know what I mean. You can get it back super easily. Okay, a lot of these next cards are very similar. It's just mana acceleration. We've got Wood Elves, of course. It's a perfect Skull Clamp target. Not a lot of people know about this card, but I absolutely love it. And it's also one of my favorite artists. My girl Rebecca, we love. You tutor for a forest. It doesn't have to be basic. It's got Forest Walk. Yes, you can kill people with this card. And it's a 2/1. It's energized with Skull Clamp. Love. It's a great Razaketh target after you do its thing. And the last card is Yavimaya Granger. Not a lot of people know this card. It has Echo, which you don't pay the Echo cost because you want it in your graveyard so you can feed your Kessig, so you can delve it, whatever, and you tutor for a basic. Sorry, it's not a... Oh, yes, it is a basic, and you put it on the battlefield tab, which is great. Doesn't synergize with Skull Clamp because it's a 2/2. Like, you can still have this die because it would be then a 3/1, which is pretty easy to kill. But if you can't, you know, do that, it's not like an easy, like, it has the 1, so it's an auto thing with Skull Clamp, you know what I mean? So, but it's still very good because it's Echo, and I really like that, so... Guys, that is everything for chatting about my updated Tasigur deck. I'd really love to know what you guys think. This deck is super fun. Absolutely love it. It's like my baby. And yeah, I think I want to get a reality chip for this deck. I think that's like a deck card that would really push it over the edge. And maybe a greed so I can draw cards, but you know, we'll see. Anyways, that is it for me, guys. If you enjoyed this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel if you're not already, and I'll catch you in my next one.